Hello, I saw like way too much TikToks like these lately, and I also walked at my local supermarket just to find they didn't have Halloween stuff, they already have Christmas stuff, so I decided that I wanted to make a Christmas themed build for my next video, and that's what I came up with. And I'm also using my real voice now. I know my English is not the greatest of them all, but it's better than the AI voice, and it's like some guy commented on my video, it's always good to hear natural voices instead of AI. And I hope I can please the people with my very beautiful sounding voice. Yeah, here's my sketch, and I heavily based this off the Temple of Celebrations and the Temple of Air Jitsu, but I also sprinkled in a few Christmassy decorations like Christmas trees and presents and all that. I made the foundation of the pond using round and wedge tiles, and I used 1x2 tiles in trans blue to make it look like a frozen lake. I also added a frozen waterfall in the back with bars to look like frozen spikes. And I also detailed the rims with olive green grass elements to make it look like frozen plants, and I made a snowman using a skull piece and a straw hat to make it like a Ninjago themed. They also do that in Star Wars where they make an R2-D2 snowman, and I made the same thing with the Ninjago pieces. I stacked round bricks and I put tiles on top with the wood printing on them, and I flipped them to the side so that it looks like firewood. And then I used red Technic connectors as pillars for a little entrance gate in the front. Many temple sets that Lego produced have those, and I also wanted to have that in my build. And yeah, that's the first part of my build complete. On the second plate I added a small rock foundation covered in snow with some icicles hanging from the snow down, and I built some stairs leading up to a walkway on top of the rock foundation. And then I built a large variety of presents which I placed under the rock foundation, and I also used some round 1x1 bricks and tube pieces to make some candy canes, which I placed next to the staircase. I used this weird spider web piece and I connected some limb elements using clip pieces to it. I stacked a few 2x2 round bricks on top of each other and I connected them to the spider web piece. I topped them off with more round bricks and I connected more limb elements to them using those weird grass elements because I don't have any other pieces to angle them. I repeated this step once more, but now with white limb elements, and then I topped them off with some more grass elements, but now I flipped them around and connected them using a bar piece. I connected the finished Christmas tree to the base plate using clip elements so that I can angle it to the side, and that's the finished Christmas tree. In the next section I extended the base plate a little bit and I added the foundation of a gingerbread house, which I made using brown bricks with white plates in between the bricks so that it looks like a older German building style, and the gingerbread house will be placed next to an open cave which has a bakery in it. I started expanding the gingerbread house by building another wall with a fireplace and a chimney on top. I made most of the walls using a sideways building technique, which makes it look like a what's in English apparently called a half-timbered house, which you can commonly find in Germany. I added the rest of the cave, and I also sprinkled in some green tones so that it doesn't look grey and boring all the time. When I designed this cave, I added huge holes in the walls so that you guys can see right in, and I also added Kai and Nia. I used white plates as the roof and I connected them using clip plates to the walls, and I also used colorful 1x1 round plates to make the gingerbread house more like something that is sweet, something that is edible. And yeah, that's the whole gingerbread house and cave section complete. Now let's connect the two sections together. The edges should align perfectly. Sadly, there's a hole in the backside of the gingerbread house, but I fixed that by building a cool balcony that the ninjas use to grow plants or something. I also made this cool custom red fence. Now let's start with building the actual temple. For the floor I used tan on top of dark bluish gray plates, like as a carpet of some sort. I made a large desk with dishes and cornflakes on top and placed it in the middle of the room. I put some other decorations on the outside and placed some minifigures in. For the inner exterior walls I used tan and dark tan, and I also made a small stripe out of green plates. And I also put golden grill pieces in between the tan bricks to make it look like windows of some sort, but they are not transparent. I made another green stripe to connect all of the separate wall pieces, and I also used basic 2x2 red bricks to make the main pillars of the building. The second floor is just one large tan plate similar to the Temple of Jitsu. I used the same techniques for the walls, but I made a different interior. On the second floor there's like a video game console where Jay can play like Fortnite or whatever ninja games they are playing in the show, and a large flat screen TV and two large speakers and a bookshelf which I made using brackets and sideways tiles. I copied the window technique from the first floor, but I also added some other exterior detailing like Christmas lights and greenery. The third floor is nothing similar to the second one, but rather really similar to the Temple of Celebrations set. It's wide open and it has a iPhone thing in the middle. The third floor doesn't have much interior. I just used it to store the ninja masks of the ninjas that I gave their hair pieces. The roof design is like exactly the same as in the Temple of Jitsu set. It's made using plates hinged to every side and then plates on top of the plates connected using brackets, and I copied the design. I made them a little bit smaller and I made 6 of those, and I covered it in snow and put it on my temple. And I also made this sick looking little bridge which has like red fences on the side, and it's also like covered in snow and it has like icicles hanging down. Lastly, I placed the temple and the bridge down and I populated the build with minifigures, and yeah, now the temple is complete. I really liked making this build. I had a ton of fun. I think it looks great. I like the colors and I also like the vibe with the snow covering all of the buildings. I also made custom minifigures for this build. I used the crystallized variants of most of the ninjas and I gave some of them Santa Claus hats and other Santa Claus accessories like presents and chocolate and other treats to make them look festive and to match the vibe of the build. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked the video, and also please comment if you want me to continue using my voice or should I reuse the AI voice again. Do I sound like shit? I don't know. But seriously, let me know what you think about my voice in the comments. And thank you for watching, like and subscribe. And now as always, enjoy the hardest shots of the thing I created. Bye.